Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe it. It's your boy Dryzzy, the wrestling plug, and this is Grappling for Positions. Before we get into this week's stuff, I want to give an apology. The last episode, little technical difficulties on my end, but we got them fixed out. We got a little bit easier ways of taking care of everything now. We ain't all clunky like we were, but you know how it is when you start new things. You got to work the bugs, you got to work the kinks out, see what you can do to make it work. But this episode. It is WrestleMania season. In fact, as this is recording, it should be come out around Mania. We are doing the top 10 WrestleMania moments. Not matches, not entrances, but moments. But a match or interest could make its creep its way in there. And because everybody is most likely getting ready for Mania, I felt it's probably better we keep this in house. So I bring to you my good brothers from Off the Earth, Shad, Clark. How y'all doing?
What's
What it
going on? I'm stoked to be back. I loved the first time I was on the show. I'm stoked. It doesn't get any better than WrestleMania. This feels like the kickoff of WrestleMania week, right? We're recording it right before, but it feels like the very beginning of it, Driz.
I really feel like this should be the thing that kicks off WrestleMania week for us.
for
I'm gonna push
sure.
for that. I'm gonna push that. Push for that.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, for sure. And it definitely I'm excited. I'm grateful, gratitude for you inviting me on the Grappling for Position show. It's my first time being on it. So I'm hyped. Yeah, bro. Mania season, bro. We're gonna be just a little tidbit for y'all who support us. We're gonna be busy shit this week. This is a
Yes.
busy week for us. There's a lot of content, but I'm excited. This might be the most exciting show content wise I'm ready for going into this week.
Right. Now, Clark, you have been here before, but for other people, and for people, and Shad, this is his first time. But for other people who have not watched the show, this is a opinion based top 10 list. So this is based off of the panel's opinions. No, there's no definitive, this is absolutely the best thing, period. It's just between us. We are having a conversation and constructing this list together. And with that comes a set of rules. Now, Shad, you haven't heard these rules, so I want you to keep your giggles in because they get a little outlandish sometimes. Rule number one: it ain't real glass, so don't cry a river. Wrestling is a form of art and theater not to be taken to a point of real violence. We are adults capable of having a conversation, so no personal attacks. Number two, closed mouths don't get fed. Feel free to voice your opinion. Chances are you're not the only one that feels that way. No matter how ridiculous you think it is. So if you think Goldust and Roddy Piper riding off doing the OJ Simpson Bronco chase is it, there's somebody in the world that thinks it is. So don't feel ashamed for voicing it. Number three, loud and wrong. Hear each other out. Do not talk over each other. Just because you're loud does not mean you're right. Number four, time limit draws. There are certain topics that we could talk about forever and ever and ever. But to keep this show down, I will also be moderator as well as panelist on certain shows. We'll try to keep it limited, but when we say it's time to move, we got to keep the car moving. And number five, there are names that we will not speak of due to the inability to separate art from artists. We will not be mentioning them. This is not debatable. This is a Wrestling Republic rule. So if you know who we're talking about, it will get rabid if we mention his name. Everybody understand the rules?
Yeah. It'd
I'm
be it'd
ready.
be it'd be crippling if we mention that man's name. So
Yeah,
all
we
right,
don't
my
want to
fault.
do
I'm sorry.
that.
We're not gonna.
All right,
Sorry, Ben.
Chad.
Don't dock my
Since
pay.
this since this is your first episode with us,
Mm-hmm.
you are getting the first shout. What are you submitting to be put on this list?
What I am submitting on this list comes from a standpoint that I want am a gentleman. So I always stand by the point, ladies first. But this is a more recent mania moment. Been a couple years, what now? And It is one of my favorite WrestleMania matches, but it is more important for the moment itself. And that is the first time we saw two black women main event a WrestleMania against each other in the WWE. Unprecedented within what it occurred to be. And that is a Miss Sasha Banks versus a Bianca Belair. Great match, great moment. The emotions of both women staring down, tears coming from Bianca's eyes before they locked in. To me, that is something that in history we have to appreciate. We make the argument daily about women not getting an ample amount of main events, TV time, the whole 9 yards. But for those two women also to be women of color who are marginalized and not giving them opportunities even more to be undeniable, to be the stars, to have the WWE say, nah, y'all are a main event match. It was beautiful, man. And to me, it is one of the greatest Mania matches of all time. Absolute banger. But that moment itself, to me, deserves to be on the top 10 list.
I absolutely agree. Where are you seeing that at on the list?
Woo! God, that's a tough one.
I feel like it's got to be top 5.
It's in the. I'm gonna. I think Clark is right. I think it feels. I think it's gonna be a moment that we will even appreciate more as the time goes on, because
Oh,
you see,
it's been 5 years since, and there
Yeah,
has not been a women's main event match since.
since
So that just shows how important it was.
I'm feeling a three. I'm
I was
feeling a three.
yeah 3 or 4 for me is what I was going to say. So that I'm
I could
very
do
comfortable
four
with
as
either
well. I
one.
could do four as well.
I,
Yeah,
I'm
I mean we can
I'm
always
good with
move
the
it up or
three.
down.
I'm good with the three. I
Three's
think
great.
that three perfect.
Yeah,
Three.
I
yeah.
think
Lock it
three.
in.
I was going to
Three.
say 4 was the number I had in my mind. So once you said 3, I'm like three's fair. We're good.
And to think that it's been 5 years is wild also. But like I feel like I said it yesterday. Sasha Banks, Mercedes Monet is in GOAT tier when her career is done, if not the GOAT. Like she's getting to that level. Bianca Belair might also be a GOAT by the time she's done wrestling, which is crazy by the way. Bianca's older than Sasha Banks.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh,
Sasha's my age. Bianca's
Wow.
36.
that's mind blowing.
Wow.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that. That is
So
actually
even to
mind
think
blowing.
of that, like with Mercedes, like she's got her whole entire career still way ahead of her as young as she is, which is mind boggling.
That absolutely is. But I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. Definitely one of my top five. Clark, the seasoned vet. What you got for me?
That was a strong one out of the gates and hard to follow, but I'm gonna go with the obvious one here because it was probably the moment that truly got me into wrestling or made me a lifelong fan, let's call it. And that's the Shawn Michaels zip line entrance at WrestleMania 12. You see it before every WWE show. You see it every time you turn on a WWE program in the intro. It's guaranteed. It's an iconic WrestleMania moment. It outlived the reputation of the match, which was 60-minute Iron Man. Michaels and Bret Hart went to overtime. The entrance itself, riding the zip line, outlived one of the biggest WrestleMania main events of all time. So I'm going with the zip line entrance HBK.
That is a good choice.
Oh
Good.
my god, dude.
You know what? I
I
didn't even
didn't
think
even
about that.
think of that. That is brilliant.
That's
See.
a
I
good one,
instantly
right?
went to the match, and I went to the overtime of the match. I didn't even think about that. He did zip line across it.
And right when as soon as they play that intro music before they do the Then Now Forever, what's
Hmm.
like the one of the most
Mhm.
memorable ones of that little highlight package they show is the zip line, right? You see it before every Raw, SmackDown, pay per view, or PLE, whatever it is.
The
So
funny
where?
thing is, I've shown that entrance to my wife, who isn't a wrestling fan per se. She's a fan now because of me. But like, I was just showing her like outlandish, like crazy entrances, and that's one of them. Because like, she loves the song is already iconic as it is, but Shawn Michaels is just he's the coolest dude ever
Oh
as a
yeah,
pro wrestler, bro.
it's so cool. I mean, I remember like I was only 5 at the time, but it's like one of my earliest memories because I had where our seat was between the ring and the entrance ramp, basically, right? Oh, about the middle of the entrance ramp. So the zip line was there the whole night, basically.
Mhm.
And I didn't know what it was for. Like, you know what I mean? You thought maybe it was like leftover
Mhm.
from Barnum and Bailey's or something, right? Like they left the tightrope up there or something. And then the music hit. And the lights are a little bit low, but they didn't turn them all out. And there's just one spotlight up in the rafters, and then the whole and the crowd going crazy. It was like, I'll never forget it. Goosebumps, absolutely.
That is absolutely a good call because I really forgot about that. Where are you seeing that on this list?
So on my personal list, it's really high, obviously.
Mm,
But I would say for our list, I wouldn't necessarily put it over the Bianca Sasha main event just yet. I
absolutely
don't
not.
think. I mean, like I have it as number one because it's like my earliest memory, right?
Mm,
So like I'm a little bit biased in that regard. I would be comfortable with anywhere between like 5 and 8.
mm.
Is that fair? Just throwing that out there, like
Uh,
6,
how about a
only
six? I
because
like six. I like six. I
yeah,
do like
because
Now,
we
six.
see it so
what if
often.
we package it all together,
That match, the
like
entirety of
everything in totality of that match?
I think even if you include the match itself, yeah, if you include the match itself, then I think it's probably 5
mm,
because
Okay,
because then you have to include the boyhood dream moment, like the iconic call and the
yeah,
way he like embraces the title, right? Like those images are pretty
yeah,
iconic as well. But I mean, I do think the entrance is really the not the highlight of it, but you know, or the
it
most
stands
memorable.
out. It
Yeah,
stands out. Yeah.
I
Mm,
like 6 or 5 for me. 6.
mm.
I'm. We think, Jersey?
I think six. I like six.
Yeah, I'm good with 6.
All right.
Because we
So
can always
we
move it up or down, right? Once we
yeah,
start throwing out other
yeah.
options.
So just for clarification, we're doing the entrance or we're doing everything.
Let's just do the entrance. I think that's kind of cool
Okay.
because
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, and this is straight.
Yeah. If we start making it, because then to me it's like if we do everything, that's like an hour and a half we're including on the list of literal time.
Valid.
Yep.
It seems
All
too much time to be considered like a moment.
Because at that point, from to your point, the boyhood dreams call may be the bigger moment from that match.
It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think you kind of got to keep them separate.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
probably.
I think that's the bigger moment because of the intro factor,
Hmm.
Mm,
because of the fact that it's on every single the beginning of every show.
mm. Okay. All right. My turn.
Perfect.
And I am going with something that is near and dear to my heart. And it is a bit of a surreal moment for me because it was a moment that actually brought me to tears. It was so long in happening, and it's something that we never really think about until we got into that. We never thought about it until we got into the moment. The in the build for it also was absolutely amazing. Everybody, you had all the correct players. Everybody willing to do what they could to make this moment as great as possible, and that is the moment Kofi Kingston became a world heavyweight champion. I'm talking about Kofi Mania, the build. Everybody wanted this to succeed, so everybody did everything in their power from the Usos, Daniel Bryan, even Vince McMahon decided he was going to do play ball this time and actually do right by somebody. And absolutely a great moment just watching Kofi Kingston celebrate being a world champion. They threw away the biodegradable title in front of everybody and pulled out the old black strap and put it on him as Kofi celebrating with his kids and with E and Woods. An absolutely amazing moment. So that is what I'm bringing to you guys.
Kofi Mania is really that's strong out of the gates there, Drizzy.
It is. It is.
Oh man.
That was such an awesome moment.
What are you
Um,
thinking for placement on the list?
Oh, I am looking at a 5 or 4.
I think that's fair.
Oof, man. Oh man. I want to even put it in the top two.
I just,
See,
I want. So
I
my
think
issue with
there's
that is I felt like Bianca and Sasha is a top two, but I don't like it. I don't love Kofi Mania more than I love Sasha and
Yeah.
Bianca.
that's where I think
Nah, that's
4 or
true.
5 is fair.
The thing is this though. So you know what we're talking solely about moments. Okay, that's
Yes,
fair because I would say Kofi Mania's build was a lot better than Sasha and
it
Bianca's
absolutely was.
build.
It absolutely was.
But the
But
moment of
the
them
moment
circling each
itself,
other,
yes,
Mm,
yeah,
four.
4. 4.
yeah. Four.
We can
I
always
can.
move them once the list gets a little deeper, like we did last
Yeah,
time,
Like
right?
three and
Yeah.
four are literally a hair.
Deadlocked. Yeah, it's like 3A and 3B almost.
They're a hair from each other though. So
Yeah.
like I want to stress that to the viewers. That God, I know I'm probably gonna think about it throughout the entire episode as we continue doing this because, dang, that's a tough one. But nah, dude, Kofi Mania, I wasn't even really watching WWE super heavy at that time, and like I was so locked into that build for Mania that year and that moment. I remember watching it that year too. So that was definitely a special moment for Kofi Kingston, who's one of the most like
mm,
under like appreciated superstars of our time.
yes.
How do we do the
I,
font size, Driz? It's bugging me too.
I don't know. I can't
Kidding.
figure it
It's
out.
not your fault either. I can't figure it out.
Yes, sir. Where
Is this Microsoft? Let's Google. God,
it's Google
where's
Docs.
where?
It's on
I don't
there
play with Google
somewhere.
Docs. Yeah, it's somewhere on there. We'll worry about that another time. But I can tell you,
Photo
folks, there's
layer.
bugs with these things. There's bugs with these things.
We can read
We'll
it.
figure it out. We'll figure it out. That's all that matters. All right, Dad, you are up. What you got?
All right, the next one I want to present to the list is one that is not as of recent time, but I would say this is more of like this kind of era within the last decade, and it deals with one of the greatest wrestling factions. It deals with guys that are main eventing night one of WrestleMania, and it deals with arguably the last amazing cash in that I've seen personally, and it's got to be the heist of the century. Seth Rollins cashing in that match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, really establishing him as a superior star in this industry. Man, that moment itself is so mind-boggling and crazy. It is so lit, so hype, and it's one of those like we really earn and miss these cash-ins to be super like impactful, and that was when it was impactful. Doing it at Mania, going again, doing against his brother in the Shield, Roman Reigns, and as we continue this storyline still to this day, it's beautiful. So I got Heist of the Century.
Boom. Now that is a big one. That's a heavy one. That's a slugger right there.
Yeah.
Where are you looking at that on this list?
Oh man,
Because
it's
I really,
either I'm shoot like five maybe
See,
or
I don't have
two.
it. Oh, I don't have it over HBK Zips into Mania. I have it at 7 based on the current list. I think it's a great moment, but I don't think it outshines the for it's it. I think recency bias would be the only reason it goes over HBK,
mm,
right? Because I mean, HBK
So
is
I say that I don't. That one's a little difficult because I really like. I'm starting to think I really want to put that entire HBK and Brett match as one to
that,
consolidate it, and then
and then it
even
moves
maybe
up
move. I'm
a
not
spot.
mad at that though. I wouldn't mind even putting it at like two and just consolidating the entirety of that match and putting it in the top five.
Yeah,
hmm.
I don't hate that at all.
What do you
I
think, Driz?
So crazy thing is, I think it's a top two. It's a top five moment, definitely. I I think it could be one or two.
oh,
For
I don't think it's that
for which
high.
one? For HB like the entirety
Oh,
of the
for
HBK and Brett or the heist of the century?
the heist of the century, I think that's a top five moment, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, it could definitely be a one or a two. Uh,
Oh, I don't have that high. I mean, I have it high, but not that high.
Mm.
Like I mean, it's a really good one. It's up to you on this. I'm kind of
Okay,
torn.
we'll make a
I'm kind of
deal.
torn.
If we let HBK and Brett's entire match be one moment, we can move that up, and then we put Heist of the Century in the top 5.
That's fair. And then we put Heist of the Century at 2. I like that because I think
So
there's one or two that for
What you think, Driz?
sure. Yeah, the Heist of the Century. Also, the call is so iconic on
why
the
did I
Heist of the
go?
Century. Like, that's part of it too. That thinking about that just from a commentary perspective, that's a big one.
And
Yeah,
then
You
we
nah, for
know,
moved
sure.
on.
And then that is Brett, and
So
that was WrestleMania. What number was that?
that would have been 35. No, yeah, 35. Right?
HBK and
Oh no, the 12. That's WrestleMania 12.
that's 12. Yeah,
Yeah, that's 12. That is 12.
yeah. Okay, yeah. We kind of got a strong top 5 so
Yeah,
far. I ain't gonna lie.
I might mess some things up here because I've got one that we may have been forgetting about, and it's not probably the one that y'all think it is.
I don't know. There's a lot of heavy hitters.
I've
There
got
are
a
a lot
real
of
heavy
heavy
one
hitters.
coming next. I'm kind of interested to see what we all say. This is gonna be fun.
Well, if you're up next. So guess what? Drop the bomb.
Perfect. I am going with Edge, not the
Ooh,
rated R superstar at the time, just regular Edge, spearing Jeff Hardy off the title belt, off the ladder in TLC 2 at WrestleMania 17.
I was
That
just
moment, all the cameras, absolutely crazy. Probably the most memorable moment from a WrestleMania that many people point to as the best one of all time in WrestleMania X7. I
mm-hmm,
mean, other than the Stone Cold heel turn, which in the moment landed,
yeah,
it didn't work out after the fact, but in the moment it landed. Many consider that to be the best Mania of all time, and the single most memorable moment, Bully Ray grabbing Jeff so that he can swing closer to Edge so that he can get to him. The leap for the spear, all the camera flashes, just iconic. What a great moment.
yes. That I was just looking to make sure I got the right Mania for them because there was a TLC match at Mania 2000, wasn't there?
That was a three-way ladder match.
Okay, all right, there we go.
That was a three-way ladder match. Yes.
I had to because they were all running together. I'm like, okay, which one is TLC and which one is that? Because the one at 17 is the one that had Spike, Rhino, and Lita in it, right?
Mhm.
That is
Okay,
correct.
yeah, bingo. All right.
Yep.
So where?
That spot is iconic as hell. That
It
was on my
is.
list too. Ooh,
All right.
6.
Six just looks nice right now because there's nothing in it either. Too.
Yeah,
That kind of slides in there nicely. I think we can agree on that one.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm cool with
okay.
6. Yeah. Edge
Because
spears
that
Jeff
match
Hardy.
itself is one of the best Mania matches like of all time.
Yeah. It is. It is. I still believe the first TLC was slightly better, and that's why I didn't go with the whole match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Boom. All right. Now that puts me on the clock, correct?
Yes.
You took my actual next one because that was gonna be the next one I
Oh,
threw
that's
out there.
awesome.
So I'm a little thrown off a bit. But I got an Odie. I got an Odie that I think aged very well. It's gonna harken back to our first episode actually. I forget which mania it is, but the Macho King Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth reuniting at WrestleMania right after he loses and is getting the shit kicked out of him by Sherry in the ring. You see Miss Elizabeth, tears in her eyes, jumping over the rails, running down the ramp to save the Macho Man. It is a beautiful moment. Y'all know I am a Macho Man kid. He was the first one I gravitated to, and Miss Elizabeth is something you never see her do. And it made sense for and on a big stage like that, she does something out of character, and that is getting rough with somebody. Sherry Martel is actually an accomplished wrestler, so the fact that she was willing to do that, absolutely amazing. But that is my submission: Macho Man and Elizabeth reuniting at Mania.
That is a good one. It's a good shout. It's a good call. Where do you feel like that goes on the list though? That's the question.
It definitely is not in the top five. That's why I kind of went with this one because we need to fill out this other
Yeah.
one, and I really feel like that is a strong number 10.
Yeah,
Okay. I'm all over that.
I'm good with
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. Let's put it. I was gonna say 9, but I like 10. Nice even number. Double digits. And Elizabeth reunite.
And it feels so good.
Do, do,
Perfect.
do. We need to add music in here. We need music. All right, Dad, you are up. What you got?
I feel like you mentioned this guy earlier in regards to the Kofi Mania match, but let's not forget his movement, which was a yes movement, talking about Daniel Bryan winning against Batista and Orton, having Batista tap out at WrestleMania 30. That was Daniel Bryan had the undeniable factor. It felt like they didn't want to push him, and they had to push him because the fans rallied behind it. And I like moments like that. So going with the yes movement, I'm going with Daniel Bryan tapping out Batista at 30.
Okay, okay, I like that. I like that one.
That's a really good moment.
Now this is where it starts getting tough. Where do you see that at?
I'm cool with it at an 8.
8's comfortable for me. I think
I
8's
think
good.
that's. I think that's my. How about 7? Because
Okay.
we got to sit there and take into account Daniel Bryan took over WWE
Yeah, he did.
involuntarily. It was not. This was not supposed to happen.
Nah, it
Also, there's
wasn't.
there's something unique about it being WrestleMania 30 as well, because it seems
Hmm.
like the multiples of 10 like that, like 10,
Hmm.
20, 30, 40, they've really tried to go all out for those
Yep.
ones in particular. And so I do think that gives it like a nudge up. I think 7 or 8's I'm cool with, but 7's fine with me.
Yeah, let's rock with 7. I'm good with 7.
Cool.
I'm afraid I'm gonna mess everything up with my next one though. Okay,
Hold on.
problem
Let
is
me
I've got like
remember that.
two
Yeso.
great ones.
WrestleMania, I like
Yeso.
that.
WrestleMania is perfect.
All right, Clark. What you got?
I am going with a classic. I'm still thinking of images myself, the most memorable like images of WrestleMania, and one of them is Stone Cold Steve Austin, blood and all, passing out and refusing to tap out against Bret the Hitman Hart, losing double turn, arguably the best match in WrestleMania history. It has to, in my eyes, go in the list somewhere. It's WrestleMania 13, I believe it was. Off the
Hmm.
top of my head, I'm trying not to mess that
No,
up. That's the
that
only reason I'm
is.
stalling a little bit.
I think 13 was Sean and Austin.
14, I know was Sean and Austin because
Was it? Let's see.
I think it was
Uh,
13.
Mania
If I got
13.
that right, that was a bit of a guess.
It was
It was
13.
13. It was 13. Yeah, you're right.
Okay,
That's
that makes me so
Michigan,
happy
yeah.
because when I said 13, I was so unconvinced.
Oh my god, that is a amazing match.
In
Shoot.
fact, it's so amazing. It's being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, bro. Oh my god. Okay, now we got to reassess, guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
It's
knew
got
I was in
inducted
trouble.
into this Hall of Fame coming up. It can't be 8 or 9.
No,
No,
definitely not.
I think. I mean, honestly, it's borderline 1.
It is.
It's because it's really the true birth of Stone Cold as a babyface. It's when he turned.
It
Yeah,
is.
it added. I'm fine with it.
I
I'm
don't
fine
hate it
with
at
it
1.
being 1.
I don't hate it at one. It's being inducted to the Hall of Fame. It's one of the greatest matches. One of the best double turns in wrestling because that's when Brett went heel too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It,
it's the it's the beginning of Brett's exit to WCW and the beginning of
Hmm.
Stone Cold putting on
Just
probably the greatest babyface run of all time as far as like merch sales and popularity is concerned.
becoming the biggest like superstar
In
in
history.
Yeah.
history,
Yeah.
arguably, man. Like, and like you said,
Telling
it's getting inducted into the hall. This is like
Yeah.
unprecedented territories, man. Like, it's
yeah.
a Hall of Fame match, and yeah, man. Like you mentioned, just the Crimson Mask, bro. Like, oh
And
Yeah.
man,
it yeah.
I think it's hard
You
not
know
to put
what?
it at
That
one.
convinced me. I was on the borderline, but that convinced me. Yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah.
it's a one. Yeah.
I'd feel so bad to put it at an 8 or a 9.
I
Like,
do
it,
too.
Oh,
Like
it
you just
definitely
can't with
wouldn't.
that one.
I definitely wouldn't. No.
And it's
No.
funny because I almost submitted another moment involving Austin that I might later, but I think that this is the more important one.
yeah. Nah, you're right. You are
I think it's Noah
definitely
E and
right, dude.
Sharpshooter, by the way.
That match, I gotta re. I'm gonna probably watch that match today
There you go.
later on.
Honestly, it still holds up. People forget Ken Shamrock was the special guest referee, but he played literally no role in the match.
Yeah.
Zero
The
role in
the
that.
good the
Yeah,
complete afterthought of that match was him. All right.
He didn't do anything.
Nothing at all. He just sat there and looked concerned.
He wore a ref shirt.
Pretty much. That's it. That is it. All right. I'm on the clock. I am going with a. I'm gonna go with a good feel good moment. A really feel good moment, and I think it is the moment that gave this wrestler the confidence that he didn't need WWE to succeed. I am going with Zack Ryder, the biggest long shot of all time, winning the Intercontinental title in a ladder match at, I want to say it's Mania 35. I may be wrong on that one, but Zack Ryder winning the Intercontinental title. My man was on. He's nobody was taking him serious still. I and I really felt like this match, getting that moment on such a big stage, gave him the motivation that, you know what, no matter what I do, I'm never gonna give up, and I'm gonna succeed, and I'm always gonna have great moments in wrestling, and that's exactly what he did. Just just off of that moment alone, I believe it gave him so much confidence, and Zack Ryder is now death match royalty. So, so that is who I'm submitting. Zack Ryder winning the IC title in a ladder match.
I think that's a fun one, but I like not to jump the gun here, but I've got that at 9. I or can't put it higher than that. I don't think. Only because I can think of 3 off the top of my head we've yet to name that I'm like that are
Yeah,
above it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. That's
yeah.
yeah,
The woo woo woo. I'm cool with it at 9 for the time being.
Yeah.
I think we could lock it in at 9 for now, and then we can continue the debates. But I mean, that dude was so over, bro. Like,
It's
I
huge.
want people to realize, like, when you seeing people like a LA Knight, even a little bit of what like Jay Uso is doing right now, um, that that man had the world eating from the palm of his hands. So,
Also,
mm-hmm.
the surprise aspect was a big
Yes,
deal,
yes.
you know?
hmm
But
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that one a lot.
All right, Chad, you are up.
oh man, dude, there's so many moments. This is so difficult. All right, for the last one that I'll throw out for as we'll probably continue this, but I feel like we gotta put Mr. WrestleMania himself and Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, bro. The ladder match for the IC title. That's like one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time, as we were kind of talking about with like Brett and everything inside of that. And that's a big reason why we revere the IC title so much. Rest in peace, Razor Ramon. So I gotta go with that.
Mm, okay.
Sean and Razor is a great shout. I can't believe I didn't think of that one too. That
It is.
has to be on this list.
hmm
Do you like it at 8, or do you want to change anything?
I don't hate it at 8 personally. What do you think, Shad?
I think 8 is fine.
All right, 8 is fine.
I'm a little
All right.
afraid because I've got a couple that I almost like want to ask about.
There's one that we didn't mention, and I think I want to hear what Clark has to say about it.
There's a couple that we didn't mention. There's like
Well, we can still
'Cause
we
I
can
got
still
an
add.
Eagles hat on, and we had Philly last year.
you have 40.
Fi-
Like I mean
To finish
that
the
that was what I was
story,
thinking of. And then
All right.
the other
How about this? We'll go around 2 more times, and we'll
yeah,
see. We'll submit something and see if we want to swap anything out for it on the list.
fair dues.
may I submit like two and like just
And
because I have
between two,
two others? Is that
yeah,
cool?
yeah.
Just
Let's
for
do that.
this one,
How about this? 2 of them for each of us. Each of these tabs. We'll pick between them and see if we want to add them.
the only reason I'm asking too is I'm really curious as like if one of the two doesn't make the list and we went back around,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious as to both y'all's thoughts at the two compared to each other,
Okay.
if that makes sense. You know what I
Well,
mean?
you up? Go ahead and go.
So the first one that I want to go with is the career versus streak Shawn Michaels Undertaker match.
Mm,
Shawn Michaels retires. That one is off the charts.
yes.
Now, I tried my absolute best to keep one Hulk Hogan out of this. Not going to revere him, but Rock Hogan 18 is really hard to keep off a WrestleMania moments
It is.
list.
It
It
is.
just is, man. Like, it breaks my heart to admit that, but like, between those two, I don't know. I give the nod to Shawn and Taker, but just razor thin to make the list, that is. But I want to, I mean, I could also see Rock Hogan on the list. If both make the list, I don't know then. And that's where it gets a little bit muddy here. But what do you guys think?
Both have a strong
Those are
case to be on the
two
list.
really
I'm not
good
gonna
ones to
lie
be
to
on
you.
this list. Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
as the list was getting filled up, I was just thinking, I'm like, one of those two's got to be on there
I,
somewhere.
I
We
think
might.
both.
I
I
think both of them
definitely
connected.
think Undertaker and Sean has to be on the top 10.
Where can we move
Yeah.
them at? Because I'm definitely on board with that. Where can we put
Oh
them?
my god, and that's one of the greatest matches of all time,
Time it
bro.
is.
Yeah.
It's just like unbelievable.
So
Um,
Okay, we'll have to. All right, one of 9 or 10 has to get docked off.
definitely one of the. I'll take. I can definitely take Ryder and they can
Yeah.
take it off. He can come
yeah.
off.
So let's take Ryder off. Okay,
Okay.
and let's. Okay, so now this is difficult because that match is one of the best matches of all time.
Yeah.
Do you like that match more than you like HBK and Razor's ladder match?
I kind of do. I was
Yeah, I
going to
do.
say that.
I
I
do.
actually do.
I do.
I like,
So
oh man, this
we
is
will put
difficult.
that. How you feel about that at 8?
I like
Yeah,
that.
put that at 8.
All right. So
HBK
Taker.
versus
I
Undertaker
remember y'all. This is
retirement.
moments. This is moments.
Yeah, it's the moments.
But everything about the moment of that match was just perfection.
It really was.
Entrances, everything was just.
What was it? It was career versus streak.
hmm Which obviously Sean came back later in his career, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about that.
Well, it doesn't count. That was Bald Sean. That's actually his evil
Yeah,
twin.
we don't talk about that. That didn't happen. It's like we
That's
don't
his
talk
evil
about Bruno.
twin.
We
It's
don't
a
talk about
different
Bruno.
guy.
That was charity.
Exactly.
Okay, so then do we put Rock Hogan at 9?
See, I don't hate that either.
Okay, we can put it there for now.
Yeah.
But there's a couple ones that
I
There's-
God, this is so hard, bro.
This is like getting to
So
get painful.
so it's gonna get painful, and it's gonna get more painful with what I'm about to suggest. I kind of see Rock Hogan, as much as I dislike Hogan, at 6.
That's fair.
Okay, so
So
switch.
would you be okay with putting Edge and Jeff down at 9?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that. Because I don't, you know what? Now that I think about it, it's kind of glaring. WrestleMania was probably more important than that,
Yeah.
than that specific moment, right? Like it's a moment, but for the sake of importance, WrestleMania, like, you know,
So
yeah. Then
Rock and
boom,
Hogan over there, or are you trying to
Rock
move
Hogan,
Rock Hogan at
Ro-
6?
Rock Hogan at 6 is good. Hollywood Hogan.
There, boom. And that was at Mania 18, wasn't it?
That was at
Mhm.
Mania 18, yes.
Boom. All right. Shad, I'm gonna let you go to submit two.
All right, the two I want to put up. One is one of the most OMG WTF moments. Streak being broken by Brock Lesnar.
Ooh.
Like that was one of the craziest moments, one of the most memeable moments in our time. Brock beating Undertaker's streak, whether we think it was the right move or not, that was a big time moment. So that's one that I want to put out there. The second one that I want to put out there, I feel like we might have to talk about um, Ray beating Eddie and becoming
Mm.
world champ as
No,
well.
he didn't beat Eddie, right? He beat
He beat Kurt
he beat,
and Randy.
I mean,
and
Curry, yeah,
Orton.
my fault. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
He
yeah,
won it, and it was a tribute to Eddie. Yeah.
You know, my
yeah,
only
my
issue
bad.
with
Sorry, nothing. But that one, not that was on the lower end one,
my
so we
only
can.
issue with that one is it wasn't that good of a match, and I would go, and not to like, I'm not supposed to be just like throwing out more suggestions, but I'm like, I would actually go Eddie Kurt and
Mm,
Eddie winning the title over the Ray moment.
mm.
Yeah,
Eddie
that's a good
himself
show.
winning it with
I
the
think
shoe pull off spot from the ankle lock. I
I
mean, that's
think
iconic. His
so.
shoe comes
Hands
off and he cheats and wins.
hands down, Taker over Taker losing to Brock is the bigger moment than the Ray one. I'll
I,
definitely
Yeah,
go
we
with
could.
that
All right,
instead.
we'll throw the Ray one out. We'll Taker and Brock, and also Cody finishing his story though.
oh yeah.
The
We
story. I think stories like if we're doing a top 10, I think the story is 11. I think you're definitely on something though
So it's
with
honorable
the
mention. Okay,
yeah,
so
definitely.
the streak being broken. So are we taking Macho and Elizabeth off?
I would because
I think
it
so.
made me
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
sad I can't put it in front of anything else on the list, but like it should be on the list.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Now where do we put that on the list now? Though? So we got the
I
spot
think
open.
I think Macho's just coming off period and that
That's
ooh,
10.
yeah.
Such a strong 10, but I don't want to put it in
It's
front
a
of anything else
strong
because it
10.
made me sad.
But Taker streak been and where do we put that?
At 10, I think.
Oh, at 10? You don't
I
think it
think
should
that's
be
just
higher?
a I think it's a strong 10.
What would you wanna move?
Well, I guess this is us saying moments that we okay, because I don't. There was a what the f moment, but I don't
Yeah.
know if I liked it. But it was so shocking. I think 10 is fine. I'm cool with 10.
Alright, Brock. Boom.
I just thought of like
Alright.
unfortunately like 15 like honorable ones in my head. I got to stop doing this. I have a problem. It's a disease.
That's how these things work.
It's
You'll
the
sit there
best
and
though. Like my wheels
you'll
are
sit there
spinning
and go
so
through all
hard.
this now and then they're like, "Oh shit, what about that? What about this? What about that?" So,
And
alright, so I'm gonna drop 2. Just where you guys just keep up with me for a sec. The first one I'm gonna give you is women the original the women main eventing mania period. So Becky Two Belts is born. Becky beating Ronda and Charlotte and capturing both titles in the main event. The first time women ever main evented a Mania, had headlined and everything. Most 3 of the biggest stars in the company at that point in time as well. And my other one I'm gonna give you is Bianca Belair. It's a feel good one. Bianca Belair. I want to say 2 Manias ago at 39, coming out with the dance team. It was such a and that little girl that her mom passed away before while she
Mhm.
was performing. Like it was just one of those. Oh my Jesus, one of those moments.
That
So
was the year, and that was when she got the belt back from Becky from the SummerSlam
yes,
shit, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a
So those are
beautiful
the two.
entrance. That was one of my favorite entrances of the little step team from the girls from
Very cool.
Compton.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, that
The
triple. You know me. I'm a Becky Lynch super fan.
here's
That Becky Two Belts. That is the first women's match that did main event
my
Mania
only
in general.
That was the last Mania where everything was one night. After that, everything had to be
m-
two.
my
Yeah,
only issue with that one is
that was a long
dang
ass
Rhonda had her
Mania.
shoulders up. That's what I remember it most for.
Hmm.
Dang it.
The match. So this is the thing. The match was not better than Sasha and Bianca
Yeah, it
by
wasn't.
any
Definitely,
means.
definitely
But
not.
the moment, the fact that it was three women main eventing, and this is the thing. I think Drizzy said the point of it being this was Mania. That was one Mania. So the leeway, the probability of having women main event a show when it is the main show and compared to like two nights where you can kind of give or take, it's like, okay, you know, nowadays, I'll be real with you, it's kind of like there's a pseudo main event and then there's the main event. Last year,
Yeah,
the tag team match was like, okay, it's the main event, but like we knew Cody and Roman was like the
The
main
a
event.
main
main.
event.
Yeah,
This year, the triple threat is big time people, but we know Cena and Cody is like what we really are seated
what we
for.
here for?
So that has to be put in consideration.
Yeah.
Um, okay, if we're going down the list, I don't have it over career versus streak. I don't have it
You
over
don't.
WrestleMania. I don't have it. I don't have it from 8 and up. I don't have it over any of that.
Any of them.
9 and 10 is tough.
9 and 10 is brutal. And the toughest part about 9 and 10 is like the streak ends probably has to be on the list, but Edge spearing Jeff is probably more memorable for me just because of my age at the time,
Yeah,
right? So it was more impactful. But that's personal biases. So it just depends on
That's
what we want to go
it.
with.
Was the thing is this? Now to me the argument between. So I think streak ends has to stay there because that's a staple moment in time in wrestling history.
I kind of want to move it up and bump Edge and Jeff down.
To
Move the
10.
streak up. Move the streak up to 9, and the streak ending to 9, and well, honestly, possibly taking Jeff and Edge off
So this
for
is what the debate is:
the Becky Two
That's
belt.
fair.
spot
That's fair.
versus moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might lean towards Becky Two Belts being born and that women's match. Because the
That's
thing
fair.
is this, that covers a lot of bases off of one. That is a moment within itself that it is a main event for women's wrestling, and
Mm,
two, a star was born. Like that's when
mm,
like Becky really took the F off and really transcended herself as like one of the biggest stars in the WWE at that time.
mm.
Yeah.
And arguably we're talking about, you know, one of the greatest women superstars of all time. Whew, I I don't I don't hate that, Jersey. I'm
Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. And that I mean, by the way, that makes like the Edge Spears Jeff basically 11 and then I put 40 at 12.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know what
no.
I mean? Yeah, if there was an honorable mentions list,
And
I'm
honestly,
completely
bro,
comfortable with that.
I think that's the 10.
The
What
I
is?
don't
Becky.
know. Yeah, I think that is a damn near perfect list.
Yeah, it's pretty
Uh,
like
close. I've got some honorable mentions that I could name, but I
so
mean,
we do gotta cut. We do gotta say this though, because people are gonna come at our helmets for this. Um, I don't. I know a lot of y'all gonna be mad because we didn't put Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. Um,
he made the list still.
he still made the list. Y'all can't complain. He made the list off of
Yeah.
the now. Hollywood Hogan versus The Rock was definitely a big time thing. There is
It
another.
was -5 when the Hogan Andre thing happened. How am I supposed to put that on the list?
yeah.
So what about Cena versus The Rock?
See, I
Mm.
don't think that makes the list.
It don't make the list.
It would
Not
be
in
like
my eyes.
it would definitely hit that top 20, but
But that's all about the build to me.
I
Now,
don't really remember the build.
what about
And then are we talking about one or two?
The
one,
first one.
not two.
The second
Mm.
one is the one where Punk got screwed over, right?
Yeah.
No, not that one.
I was also going to say another one that's interesting is the Shawn Michaels "I'm sorry, I love you," and then
Oh, I'm
kicking the
sorry, I
chair.
love you. Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's 11.
honorable.
That's 11. That's an
That's
11.
11. That one's so heavy. It's like right there. And then even I thought of it's a little bit of a smaller one, but Michaels the missed moonsault onto the announce table against Kurt Angle.
Mm.
That's so
Yeah.
memorable. They show that video in the "Don't try this at home" package on everyone, so you see it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nah, this is a strong list. All right, so y'all want to lock in these as the 10, and then do you want to debate any other orders potentially, or what?
Is there any position debates you want to have before we lock it in?
I was gonna say, what about the Boneyard match?
If we
Nah.
talk about
Pretty
the
iconic.
boneyard,
I
if we
know,
talk
but
about
it's
the
just
boneyard, we have to talk about the Firefly Funhouse.
That's the one. If
true.
you're
Okay.
gonna talk about that Mania, okay,
Yeah.
shoot. Okay, hold on. We got to reopen this.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Rocket Hogan, I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe he didn't make the list. Maybe he didn't make the
okay,
list.
so I can't condone taking Rock Hogan off just because those first 5 minutes
Are
of just
Oh,
them
unbelievable.
the stare
standing
off,
there
the crowd just going
going
ape
nuts.
shit. Yeah.
Bananas.
Like that was truly. I know the Invasion Saga happened before this, but that was the true beginning of the dream matches.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm messing. I'm messing. I'm messing. I don't
Um,
know, man. Okay,
I was
let's
gonna say,
go to this. Does it surpass the women's main event?
Does Rock Hogan pass the
No,
women's
no, no.
man?
I think
Oh,
that's a lot. I agree. I'm messing around.
okay.
I'm saying the fire. We talk about Firefly
the
The
Funhouse
Funhouse,
Firefly
match.
the
Funhouse.
Funhouse match.
I can't. I can't say that it does.
I can't put it over it.
Yeah, it's like right there as
There's
well.
like out of all these on this list, I can't definitely cannot put it over those. It
I
would
can't
definitely
put
make
it
top.
over
If
any
we
of the
would do a
10,
top
bro.
20, it definitely would make
Yeah,
it.
It's
it
a
would be
it's a good HM. It's a definite honorable
honorable
mania
mention.
mention.
Hmm.
Um, it was so creative, but and you know what the crazy thing is? Like that's one thing I have to give the WWE a ton of credit for. As bad as that Mania was in the standpoint that it was in no fans and all of that,
Hmm.
those two cinematic matches were absolutely
Amazing.
Yeah.
amazing.
The
They
creativity,
did
and
such a good job with those two cinematic
they were
matches.
the only show going. Society needed it so badly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
To me, that impact is huge. It probably goes on, if we make a slightly different Mania list in the future, it goes on that one. Moment wise, though, right? Because it's cinematic, I think there's an argument to be made that that's the reason we keep it out of the top 10, right?
I think
Yeah.
so because it's not really.
Because there's not really one
So if
moment.
so, if we talk about it,
It's a film.
yeah. At that point, it's not a moment. It's all right.
Yeah.
So I feel like if we say that, can we say that about Brett and Sean?
Yeah, go back to the zip line. I like Brett and Sean. Keep the zip line on there because the zip line
At
is in
one,
every. It's on the
Because I think
pre-show.
if we're doing the whole match, then that would probably bump it down to the top 10.
Yeah, I
But
actually think zip
the
line
zip
though.
line definitely is one of the greatest entrances of all time. It's lived through to this very day.
It's unique. I don't mind sliding it down the list and moving stuff up. The other one I was going to add just while we're here because no one mentioned it is what about what about Mike Tyson punching HBK in the face after he
yeah.
fast counts it for Austin to win the title for the first time?
Yeah. Oh man, that is a good one too. Shoot.
Ooh,
Ah.
I don't know if that makes the top 10, but I just wanted to
That
make
was a
sure I
great
said it.
no, that was a great moment. I
It
it
mean,
is.
is.
man, there's a lot
We don't
of
mind locking in this list. I think we've done a delightful job here, to be honest.
Yeah. And there's no positions that we want to debate being moved or anything.
I truly
nah.
don't think so where we're at right
We're
now.
good here. We're
Nah,
good.
I'm good with this. I
I
don't
am
want to overthink
too.
it anymore.
Yeah. I
No,
keep
because
just thinking
this
of
is
like,
definitely one of those things that we're victims of the moment. We're sitting here in it now, and we're good with it now. But 5 minutes more goes on, and we're like, you know what? Let's just add this. Or no, let's
yeah,
add this. So before we lock it in, I'm just gonna have everybody go around one more time, give one good honorable mention, just just to do some fan service, I guess, and just to say we did talk about it. It is an honorable mention, but it just was not strong enough to beat this powerhouse of a list. So, Shad, you go first.
You know what? I'm going to give the honorable mention to WrestleMania 40. Um, the main event on night two. Cody finishing his story. Um, a lot of it is tied to everybody involved into it. It's not just Cody Rhodes. It is Roman Reigns. It is our tribal chief being the, backbone of WWE for the last 5 plus years, being the reason why wrestling is cool, being the ultimate bad guy, and Cody becoming the lovable babyface we were rooting for, the Rock and the final boss being involved in all of it. I think it definitely deserves a solid honorable mention. So I'm going to go with Mania 40, Cody finishing his story.
Good one. Clark, you are up. What you got?
For my honorable mention, I'm going to go with Owen Hart versus Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania 10. Iconic match all time. The Owen finish, it was abrupt. It was great. Everything about this match technically sound and so good. Honorable mention, no doubt.
Good one. Good one. My honorable mention is going to be the Hardys returning for the. I think it was a ladder. That was a ladder match as well. Returning to face and win the WWE Raw Tag Team titles at Mania 35, I believe it was. New Day played it out perfectly, like they were gonna come and do it, but then they looked to the ramp, and then all of a sudden you hear the rumble of the crowd from seeing the Hardy Boys. Especially after the night before, they were just in a ladder match with the Young Bucks at Ring of Honor. I think it was Death Before Dishonor, maybe, but an incredible moment in wrestling. Probably the one of the biggest pops you will ever hear at a Mania. A incredible moment. But those are our honorable mentions. Are we ready to lock this list in?
I'm ready to lock it in.
All right, I'm gonna give the list the main screen for a sec, and these is our top 10. Oh no, you can't see it all.
You
Yeah.
can, at least
The
from here.
the
Oh,
banner
almost.
the banner kind of. All right, so yeah, forget us about
Wait,
that.
one
But
quick question: is the zip line a moment itself, or are we doing the entirety of that match?
It's the
just a
moment
zip
itself.
line, just
The
a zip
moment
line.
itself.
We're
Okay,
sticking with it.
Yeah.
so we locking
All right.
in that 5.
Let's do it. I like it. I
Yeah.
like it.
So number 10, Becky Two Belts is born. Number 9, the streak ends. Brock Lesnar beats the streak. Number 8, Taker versus HBK, title versus streak. Taker retires HBK. Number 7, WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan overcomes everything. Number 6, the beginning of Rock versus Hogan at Mania 18. Number 5, HBK zip lines in for Mania 12. Number 4, Kofi Mania. Kofi Kingston wins the world title. Number 3, Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks Black Women main event for the first time ever. Number 2, the heist of the century. Seth Rollins steals the world title. And number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin passes out in the sharpshooter, creating one of the biggest baby faces of all time. Are we good with this list?
Lock it in.
I
It
like
is
it. Lock
locked
it in.
in. We are 100% good with this, and probably the strongest list that you could possibly make. If we like we just said, if we were to go further and go on and on and on, we would be changing this list every 5 seconds.
Facts.
No,
There are just so many
yeah.
incredible moments, including the ones that may end up happening this Mania coming up.
That's true.
This definitely may be something that we come back and revisit, do a relist maybe. But as of right now, this is our list. I have to thank Shad and Clark, my off the air brethren, and my Sunday Spotlight brethren. Thank you all for jumping on this panel with me. Thank you everybody who has been watching, and I'm sure if you all know by now, this is a Wrestling Republic show. So that means you need to get on board with the movement. Jump with the it's the movement to move with. The Wrestling Republic. Go ahead, go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. You get all types of good stuff like you get Sunday Night Spotlight. You get to see our three faces again on off the air off after NXT each week. You get to see Take It to the Table with Chaos. You get to see Soul Separately with Clark and Anthony. You get to see I'm forgetting the show.
The daily, we got
The
all kinds of good
the
stuff.
flagship show, RESPN, the daily.
Allison analysis.
Also, Allison analysis. You get to see the live watch alongs that we do with progress
Jordy.
Jordy,
with
yeah.
with Jordy. Like, just hit subscribe. You'll get the notification. We'll tell you what to come watch. If you see any of our faces, you definitely need to come watch that. So for Clark and for Shad, I thank you. And remember, I went blank for a sec.
Remember it.
Be the one and not the two, because nobody can do you better than you do. I am Dryzzy, and we are out.